coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. A dining institution in Maple Creek has bid farewell to its customers. Over 100 delegates from across the province recently met in Maple Creek for the 2018 Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association Roundup Conference. The Art Gallery at Swift Current showcases a number of exhibitions throughout the year. And the latest shines the spotlight on Saskatchewan artist Joe Fafard. Thanks for joining us here today. The Southwest has said goodbye to a dining icon in Maple Creek. We have more in today's top story. After 11 and a half years of serving up fine cuisine, a dining institution in Maple Creek has bid farewell to its customers. Owner Tina Cresswell and her staff of the Star Café Grill, located on Pacific Avenue in Maple Creek, the Star has served thousands of guests over the years and not only played an integral culinary role in the Southwest, but helped show that Maple Creek was open for business.
The whole downtown revitalization program that we have been successful with here in the last couple of years, you can really trace the beginning of that to about 2006. And in 2006, two things happened that had never really happened here before. The first was Tina, her husband, and her partner at the time decided that they were going to restore a heritage building, bring it back to its former late Victorian glory, and they were going to do a casual fine dining restaurant. And again, nothing like that had ever happened before. At the same time, the Southwest Sask Old-Timers Museum had just taken over the W.R. Orr building, which was a 1910 Union Bank of Canada building that later became a law office, a nonprofit organization doing rehabilitation and a repurposing of a heritage building that might otherwise be lost to the community. And that activity started people thinking locally that we could maybe revitalize our downtown. We could potentially do things that hadn't been done here before.
And along with the development of a heritage district in Maple Creek, the Star's casual fine dining experience soon caught on, attracting guests from near and far, further putting Maple Creek on the tourism map, while creating lasting memories for its clientele.
And I think that's what Tina and Dave created with the Star, was an emotional experience. It wasn't just coming to have something to eat, it was the complete package. So you have Tina greeting you and talking to you, you have your server welcoming you. So it's that, it's not just a dining experience, it is being welcomed and cared for the whole time that you're there.
The Star also created employment opportunities for numerous staff over the years, including Val Lepke, who began as a server when the Star first opened its doors, and later went on to manage the Daily Grind coffee shop.
It's family. It's been family the whole time. Didn't matter who was here. Somehow it was family. I would not be where I am in my life right now if it weren't for Tina and Dave. So.
And now with the building sold and the final meals being served, owner Tina Cresswell was filled with mixed emotions.
Right now, my heart's thumping a little bit. When I start talking about it, I get emotional. As long as I'm looking at it from, oh yeah, we have to feed 180 people tonight, then I'm good. I keep myself focused. But when I start to talk about the people that have inhabited this room in the last 11 and a half years, I get very emotional because really that's what drives me is people. And feeding people. I've said this many, many times. I want people to have an experience, good food, good service, and good company.
And with the entrepreneurial spirit beating as strong as ever for Tina and Dave, they'll continue with various business endeavors in the community, while offering this sound advice for the definition of success.
Is doing something you're passionate about well. It doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with community, it has to do with people, it has to do with your passion, and it has to do with challenging yourself. Those are the earmarks of success. If you're in the business for the money, you're not, from my perspective, you're not truly successful. And we have been in business, we've made lots of money on occasion, we have made little money on occasion. But I felt most successful in this room, and this is not where we've made a lot of money, I'll tell you, because this was a vision and a dream and a reality that we managed to create, and that's success.
Over the years, the Star Café Grill won numerous awards, including Business of the Year by Tourism Saskatchewan, a shining star, which is now a fond memory for the town of Maple Creek and southwest Saskatchewan. Delegates from across the province recently traveled to Maple Creek for a special conference. We give you the details in this report. Over 100 delegates from across the province recently met in Maple Creek for the 2018 Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association Roundup Conference. The three-day event brought together representatives from municipalities, recreation boards, and other groups to discuss a range of topics and meet vendors and suppliers of various sports equipment. Royce Pettyjohn is the chair of the 2018 conference and says the local committee worked on organizing the event for close to 2 years, with a long-term goal of setting the standard of hosting future large-scale events in the community.
What we'll have learned is, yes, we can host provincial conferences here in Maple Creek and Cypress Hills, and that people will come away having had a positive experience here, and they'll think, well, do we want to be in a windowless basement conference room in a downtown hotel in a city, or can we get into the beautiful Cypress Hills, into Maple Creek, and take advantage of some of their cool venues? And we've been trying to showcase some of the interesting venues that we have here with our designated heritage properties, like the Jasper Centre, the Log Museum, the Armory, and then also some of our businesses.
And along with the numerous informational sessions discussing how tourism and communities can work together for a greater recreational experience, conference attendees were immersed in the local culture.
One of the things that we try to do in everything that we've done with the Cypress Hills destination area is when we ever have a visitor here, we try to give them a taste of the experience. So here in Maple Creek for the SPRA conference, it's called the Recreation Roundup. We're building on that Western theme. All of our decorations have that Western theme. And because we are such a culinary hub, and we have something called the Cowtown Culinary Tour, that we have even made our Thursday night social part of a Cowtown Culinary Tour.
A concept which was pleasing to the attendees and the Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association, as it hopes to attract more of its members to the annual conference.
Certainly further fosters that opportunity for connections and networking and interaction because of the space and the setup that's there. I think in addition to that, the excitement and the energy that comes from the host committee is just something that you can't duplicate in a place like Regina or Saskatoon. So it's definitely something that as an organization we want to make sure that we provide those opportunities for all communities that are our members to be able to host.
The 2018 SPRA Roundup Conference was hosted by the Cypress Hills destination area in cooperation with the town of Maple Creek.
Hi, I'm Brian Gladwell. I live in Regina. I'm a furniture maker. I do a mixture of commission work, directly working with clients, and work that I sell through galleries, Slate being my principal gallery. I work in wood and also in corrugated cardboard, which is what's showing in this show here. So the piece here is made out of cardboard. And I'm interested in the material because it has some interesting visual textures. The unexpected element opens up other interpretive possibilities, and it's just kind of fun to work with something unexpected. So this table laminates it together. I laminate it together in layers, and I found which ways you can use it that make it quite strong. I have an aquarium on a cardboard table at home, So it just opens up a whole new range of expectations as to what furniture can be. Some of the work is made with recycled cardboard, but not all of it. And when I started out, I was using new material because the repetitive patterns that I'm working with, you need large sheets so that you can have a consistency in the pattern. So I'm working back and forth, and I think the fact that it can be made out of recycled material is quite interesting, yes. I look at architecture a lot as a source of ideas of form. Looking at painting, at sculpture, at furniture, and the traditions of furniture. So I'm interested in working within the traditions. Actually, there's always a relationship to the traditions of furniture in what I do, but then we can move beyond that. We don't have to stay with those traditions. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing, because in some levels it's obvious what art is and what its benefit is, and in other ways there's more subtle things happening in the field of art than present themselves at first glance. And I think that it really is an ongoing process to let people share in that experience as well. I like to present an opportunity for you to speculate, to reflect on something. I think an interesting piece of art serves as a portal to another dimension, a more speculative dimension, more contemplative. And that's my hope, is that you open up that portal to another space.
Patrons to the Art Gallery of Swift Current will be enticed by a current exhibit, this time showcasing Joe Fafard. The Art Gallery of Swift Current showcases a number of exhibitions throughout the year, and the latest shines the spotlight on Saskatchewan artist Joe Fafard. The world-renowned artist has created another unique exhibition with Rutai, featuring laser-cut welded metal sculptures, along with embossed and woodcut prints of his famous animal figures.
The main connection between one piece and the other is that they're all the product of some laser cut. So some of the pieces are deliberately drawn laser cut pieces, but most of them are made up of all the leftovers from doing other works. But I had all these pieces left over, and I didn't know what I would do with them, but eventually the idea came to me to take all the leftover pieces and recycle them into new pieces by welding them together. And those leftover pieces in French are called retaille. That's the name of the show. That's why it's called retaille.
And along with the precise detail put into his work is the naming of each piece.
Calgary Stampede wanted to give to the Quebec Festival a sculpture to commemorate the city's 400th anniversary. So what I proposed is these 8 running horses running out, and we selected a site along the St. Lawrence River, along the Champlain Boulevard, between the boulevard and the river, so that from the boulevard you'd be looking against the St. Lawrence and seeing these running horses, which are there now, and they're much larger than these. This was harmonious, you know, and I thought, well, I'll just call these pieces do, re, mi, like the music scales, you know. So, and starting with do and ending with do.
A one-of-a-kind exhibition, which art gallery curator Kim Houtailing explains, is set up in a particular fashion to attract the eye of patrons. A process which he shared with these students from Waldeck School.
When you draw a line and that follows the edge of something you're looking at, okay, when it comes back and encloses, which means you go all the way around and the line meets itself again, the moment that line encloses, your eye sees the interior, the space that's enclosed in that line, sees it as if it was a solid plane. But we also know that we can see right through it. So there's kind of simultaneously 2 experiences that you can kind of role reverse. And even though it happens automatically for everyone to see this illusion occur and interpret it and accept it, they're not necessarily aware of it. So when I pointed at it, was able to point it out in examples with this show.
And along with the unique lines of each piece, patrons are also being drawn into the exhibition by how it's actually on display. A good use of space within the gallery, which is pleasing to artist Joe Fafard.
Well, as you come into the show, you see a great number of pieces that all seem to be going in one direction, like a big sweep, like almost a stampede of things. And I had never thought of doing it quite like that, but he's chosen the pieces that fit that narrative really well.
Retie by Joe Fafard is on exhibit at the Art Gallery of Swift Current through October 28th. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.